We know the problems, most of the problems which our society is facing. We know the solutions. But what is lacking is honest political will. What is lacking is the honest societal will. What is lacking? Determining priorities and take actions. We have seen, when she was the Director General, we worked very closely on behalf of civil society and on behalf of intergovernmental agency. And we have seen that how the number of out-of-school children has decreased from almost 113 million to 70 million.
60.
60 million.
60.
Yeah, and that was possible. So it is possible when we do it. We have also seen when this international law against worst forms of child labor was adopted, since then the number of child laborers has decreased from 250 million to 150 million. We have proven we can do it. And the world is more wealthier than ever before. Not in terms of resources and money, but also in terms of technology and science and knowledge. So we have to act now with certain things. Two things I would like to propose here. One is, unfortunately, after the adoption of SDGs, the number of child laborers and number of out-of-school children increased because we thought that we can go like business as usual and
Relaxed.
we can, relaxed. So the number has increased to 160 million. And out of that, 92 million belong to Africa. And that is serious. So no European or American company can employ a child in their own country, in their own companies. But they are very free to employ children, even in slavery, in their supply chain and production chains in Africa, in Latin America, in Asia.
Let's focus on that.
This, how can you justify it?
Yeah.
How it can be ethical? Secondly, pandemic has not only exposed, but exacerbated the problems children have been facing. In fact, all the wars and insurgencies and pandemics have created many serious problems to our children, and children are not responsible for any of those wars and pandemics.
Right.
They are we.
Yeah.
So what we are proposing now with the group of Nobel laureates, all the 4 laureates are sitting here, Lema and Regoverta and 2 of my friends from Tunisia, they are the part of this group,
Yes.
Laureates and Leaders for Children. And we have demanded that to mitigate this crisis with childhood, what we call the childhood crisis, the freedom crisis, education crisis, we have to ensure social protection for all children in low-income countries, where all the marginalized children could get swift and direct benefits. It should not be the generic social protection, but child-focused social protection programs, education, healthcare protection. And that requires $53 billion only. These $53 billion annually is not much. It is less than the 10 days of global annual military expenditure. Less than 10 days of global military expenditure.
We
I
should
repeat.
write that down in our reflection.
Yeah, and 1.4% of what the Europeans spend on their own social protection programs. So that is not a big deal. So here, number of leaders and thought leaders are sitting here. We invite you to be one of those change makers in this defining movement that children must get their protection now. And governments should enhance their budgetary allocations, but the donor government should also make sure that the children in developing countries, particularly in Africa and sub-Saharan African countries, must get that protection programs. And these are 2 things. So there should be an international law to regulate supply chain, child labor in supply chain, slave labor in supply chain.
Yep.
And all the companies should have that binding.
Got it.
And secondly, this social protection program.
Yeah.
2 things.